Welcome back, class. I want to talk about simplifying expressions, okay? Simplifying expressions. Remember, when we simplify expressions, we use G for grouping, E for exponents, M, and I'm going to write or D, A or S, okay? Grouping, exponents, multiply or divide, whichever comes first, add or subtract, whichever comes first. Okay, so let's take a look. Simplify the expression. So we have to do grouping first. Grouping includes parentheses or brackets, and it can also include curly braces or brackets too that look like this. Okay, all of these things are groups. Okay, so first we do groups, then exponents, which is like, 3 to the second power, but we're not doing exponents in 5th grade. The M or D is multiply or divide. So I'm just going to write multiply, divide, whichever comes first. So whichever comes first, then add or subtract, whichever comes first, meaning left to right, whatever comes first. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is well, look at here. We have a couple things that may not make sense to everybody, but I'm going to explain them. Okay, first of all, we have both brackets and parentheses. Okay, if we have a situation like this, we do the innermost thing first. Okay, that's our first kind of quirky thing with this one. So let's go ahead, and the way I've taught the students is to box it in. Your first thing you're going to do, you want to box in. Okay, so 2 minus 1.5 is going to give us 5/10. Okay, I can do that up here. So 2 minus 1 and 5/10. Oh, look, doesn't that look a little weird? Let's go ahead and even this up by adding a decimal and a 0. Okay, and now it looks more even. It's going to be easier to solve. I'm going to borrow from the 1 and bring over 10/10, and I'm going to subtract that. So my 10/10 minus 5/10 is going to give me 5/10. Bring my decimal straight down. 1 minus 1 is 0. So I have 5/10, which I have represented here. I'm going to rewrite the rest of my expression because we should only do one thing per time. So 5 minus 3. I'm going to go ahead and keep my parentheses and then my closing brackets. Okay, now we've been over this several times, but I just feel the need to explain again. When there is a number outside of your parentheses or bracket without an operation, the operation is multiplication. So when I look at this, I am still needing to do grouping because I'm within the group still. And I have multiplication here. Although it doesn't explicitly show multiplication, it does mean multiplication when 3 is outside the parentheses with the 5/10. So my next thing I need to do is 3 times 5/10. Let's go ahead and do that up higher. 3 times 0.5. Don't try to line anything up when you're multiplying with decimals. Just know that I have one digit there past the decimal, so I'm just going to write 1 so I don't forget. And then 3 times 5, just like normal, is 15, but I need to hop over 1 time. So instead of 15, I have 1 and 5/10. So now I'm going to put that 1 and 5/10 here, and I am going to write 5 minus 1 and 5/10. Okay, actually this could just be in brackets now. Okay, and then 2 times 5 minus 1/10. Okay, so my next thing I need to do, I'm still in brackets, so I need to do this next. Okay, so 5 minus 1 and 5/10. Okay, just like we did up top, add a decimal there, add a 0 there. Okay, now I can't take 5 from 0, but I can borrow 1. So I can have 4. I have my 10 minus 5, which is 5. Bring down my decimal. 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, so now my next step is I have 3 and 5/10 here. Okay, and then 2, okay, which I can keep in brackets, or I could just put down times. But my next step is basically to do the last thing, which is 2 times 3 and 5/10. So I'm going to put my 3 and 5/10 times 2. Again, don't try to line anything up here. Okay, and then 5 times 2 is 10. Carry a 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Okay, I'm 1 over here. So that means I have 1 decimal place to worry about. I go over 1, and my answer becomes 7. So that is my answer, 7. Okay, and that is how you simplify. Okay, simplify using GEMDAS with both parentheses and brackets, and numbers like on the outside of those brackets without an operating sign or an operation sign. Okay, all right, thank you, class.